So my grandpa used to live up in Wyoming, and he had a horse named Bullet he'd ride around, which is kind of cool. Um, but anyways, he had these belt buckles that said, "Wyoming is what America was." And then another one said, "Alaska is what America was." Kind of an interesting concept and idea. I think about that a lot. I don't know if you guys know the Willie Nelson song, "My heroes have always been cowboys, and they still are, it seems." But it's kind of how I feel. I like people and to watch people that do things, that figure it out without a lot to start with. I think it's a very maybe American thing. I don't know. Maybe it's everyone. But I guess just catch my breath here. I'm out hiking today. Hiking with Emmy, with my dog. She's still learning. She's cute pup though. But I guess, I'm a person that didn't grow up like, absolute poverty by any means. Live in the United States of America. It's pretty hard to starve to death. You can go through a trash can and not starve to death. But didn't grow up with a lot. Wasn't super rich or anything like that. And still not. But one thing I really love is I love to see and hear about stories where people are overcoming something where they didn't have a lot to start with. And I guess that's sort of what I'm thinking about today. Is just my heroes have always been cowboys, and they still are, it seems. There's this guy, you should check him out on YouTube, called Frugal Off Grid. Super awesome, but he has this amazing backstory of just, he had it hard. Grew up in the foster system, was addicted to drugs, all this stuff, and he found himself out in the middle of Arizona buying a cheap piece of land that no one else wanted, and he's developed it and turned it into something that's fully sustainable and able to be lived on, and it's his. It's really cool. Anyways, Frugal Off Grid's the channel, so if you don't watch mine, you can go watch his. But I have another channel too where I'm constantly doing stuff. This is my talking channel, which is a weird concept to begin with, but it's also kind of fun. So I love seeing like his ingenuity and how he came from literally nothing, such a terrible situation, from foster home to foster home, and just living out on the streets and all these things. But you see him today, he figured out a way to make it work. And he did it outside of the bounds of the system. And I think that's the thing that draws me in more than anything else, is when people do it outside of the bounds of the system. Because modern life, although great, amazing in so many ways, it also places a lot of restrictions on you as a human being. You have to follow permits, file for things unless you're way, way out there. So I love seeing all that stuff. I love hearing about those stories. And I love seeing when people overcome things, especially when they come from very little. But even if they come from a lot, it doesn't matter. If you overcome something, you work hard, I respect it. Anyways, if you hear that, tell me your story. Tell me what you're working on. Tell me, what struggles you're going through. Like I said, right now I was laid off, and I'm figuring it out from the ground up again at age 40. So let me know. That's the Vanishing Point for today. Not much, but thanks.